The department's tried this in the past. I say like a long time ago.
Long time ago, way before this administration.
Right, but there was never the support. This administration has supported some huge projects that the police department's been a part of. So
well, and it helps when your mayor's a retired police officer.
Right, yeah.
Hi, and welcome to Pasadena Works, the podcast that takes you inside City Hall and beyond in 15 minutes or less. I'm Laura Branch Morellis, your host, and I'm joined today with Lieutenant Josh Ridings from the Pasadena Police Department. How are you, Lieutenant?
Doing good.
Good. So we're here today to talk about PACE. Tell us what that acronym stands for, please.
So PACE is a program that it's the Pasadena Accreditation and Community Empowerment, and it was developed. It's actually a spin-off of another program. SEPTED is what we call it. It's crime prevention through environmental design. So we just kind of morphed that and made it fit the city of Pasadena.
Okay, so you were telling me before we started this that SEPTED, which is CPTED, is something that started in Arizona, and it's sort of a combination of community involvement, law enforcement coming together to make recommendations on how to keep your community safe.
Correct.
Would that be accurate?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually the first SEPTED was in Mesa, Arizona. However, this was it took a couple of decades and some experts to get involved to actually make this program where it would be successful. And then you ultimately ended up with the formal. I think the first area was in 1992. So this has been around for some time now.
Okay, so this has been cooking for a while.
Right.
Okay,
right.
And just like Pasadena always is, you guys have done a great job tailoring things to our community, because Pasadena is it's our own world, and we are a big little city. And so I must commend you guys on this. So the PACE program really focuses on apartments. Is that correct?
Correct. The multifamily housing units. The ironic part is, so when Chief Wright wanted to focus on, we call it the quality of life unit. So it's the homelessness and then our, I guess, crime control in certain apartment complex areas. So the homeless aspect we had already started,
Mm-hmm.
and that's been a huge success.
Really, you guys have.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job. We ended up having a meeting with the Harris County Sheriff's Department, their nuisance abatement team, to kind of to come up with an idea of how we would make this look. And during that meeting, one of our officers actually was familiar with Houston's HPD's Blue Star program, and that caught my attention. So I did some research after we left that meeting, and this is where we came up with the idea of developing our own SEPTED program, crime prevention through environmental design.
And so, again, bringing it back to the apartment complexes, how many apartment complexes in Pasadena would you say, roughly?
Roughly just over 100 apartment complexes.
100. And so, in a 62 square mile radius, that's a lot of apartments,
Right.
and that's a lot of density. And so, is this a voluntary program that is it managers or property owners, or how does that work for them to become part of the PACE program within Pasadena PD?
It is completely voluntary. And actually, we have Officer Chad Cook is the lead of this program. He's gone all over the city, reached out to multiple, not just managers, but to the owners, the property owners, who a lot of the times aren't in the state. And we've received tremendous feedback. So something we had talked about earlier is we already have 10 communities lined up, ready to go. We did our first accreditation last week.
Mm-hmm.
So we're excited about the program and can't wait to see what happens in the future.
What does accreditation look like? What are just a couple of the things that they would need to do?
Some of the things we're looking at, keeping your trees trimmed high to reduce any kind of areas where you can hide.
Mm-hmm.
Cameras, make sure all your lighting's working. They even go as far as to you need 3-inch screws in your hinges of your doors. So there's a lot of things that we're looking at to help reduce crime, improve the quality of life, and it also helps reduce liability on the owners of these apartment complexes.
because that, less crime,
Right.
less damage, less vandalism. I would say the big thing that they probably don't think about are the low-hanging branches on the trees. You've got that. That's covering the cameras.
Right. Right.
People can. I think you gave one example of something that probably happens a lot around New Year's and July 4th.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Discharge of firearms is it's something. It's not just a nuisance, but it's dangerous. So anything we can do, any steps we can take to help minimize and reduce those, that behavior is something we're willing to put effort into.
Well, and when you say discharge of firearms, I mean, we're talking like just shooting them up in the air,
Correct.
thinking they're being funny. And
Right.
a lot of people forget what goes up must come down.
Absolutely.
And they don't think about that,
Mm-hmm.
which is sad.
Right. Right.
So one of the questions I did ask you, what does this have anything to do with code enforcement or our health department? This is a separate program. Like, for instance, P.A.C.E does not issue citations.
No, we do not.
All right. But how is it related to those departments that do?
I can give you a good example. One of the communities we're looking at, it's a beautiful community, but during the inspection, we discovered that I think it was a boiler room permit was missing. And it was just an oversight. It wasn't a lengthy period of time, but it made them look at it. I was like, we need to get this fixed immediately. And they did. I mean, within days, it was taken care of. And that's just one key aspect that really helps improve the quality of life for the citizens that live in those communities.
So, in other words, participating in this P.A.C.E program, correct me if I'm wrong, would be a way for a multifamily housing unit to get some type of list, a laundry list,
Correct.
An assessment per se, and without or before a citation would be issued or before a problem would arise.
Correct.
So it kind of helps deter against that.
It does.
Okay, and so you've said you've only been doing this about a year. All right, and we've got our first. Can we say the property or maybe not?
Yeah, we'll leave that.
Okay, we'll leave them anonymous for
Right.
now.
Yeah. It's actually all this will be posted on our website.
Oh, good.
Some of the information is already on the PD's website, but as we grow this program, we're going to expand that as well.
All right, and so if, let's say, you had a property and there were some residents who were listening to this podcast, or maybe they've seen it on PPD social media, which is fantastic, by the way. Kudos to you guys. Just y'all do such a great job. If the residents see this, what would be a good way for them to perhaps get their management or their property owner on board?
That would be something that they could bring up to their manager, and if they feel that they need additional help, I would recommend emailing the Quality of Life unit because we'll go talk to anybody. Officer Cook's done a great job with trying to network with all over the city with the managers and the owners of these properties. So,
But a resident can directly.
Yeah, they can email the Quality of Life.
And what's that email?
I believe it's QOL at PasadenaTX.com is the. .gov. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so QOL
at
PasadenaTX.gov.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and we can put that on this podcast, the video version, and then we can also put it on our social media
Yes, ma'am.
when we promote this. This particular episode is, I want to say it's coming out, if you're listening to this, it's probably around the third week in April. And we have a lot of exciting things coming around. Our Pasadena Police Department just does some amazing things. You were telling me about your connection with the Texas Police Chiefs Association.
Right. This is actually where the acronym P.A.C.E came from. During the meeting we had with the Sheriff's Department and the following meetings, I was a project manager when the department became accredited through the Texas Police Chiefs Association. So I wanted to keep that accreditation in the name of this because it's the same philosophy. It's just it's a mechanism in place that we use to look at ourselves and make sure we're always improving, following the best standards across not just the state but the nation. So I felt like this is the same philosophy, so I wanted to keep that in the name, just to help encourage others to want to join. And
Well, and as a property owner or the management company, I mean, that shows you have skin in the game.
Right.
That shows that you are willing to take extra steps to work with local law enforcement. And I would imagine that would help with recruiting quality tenants. And I don't know about rental rates or things like that, or insurance rates. I'm not sure if that would have any effect, but I can't imagine it wouldn't.
Yeah, there's benefits across the board, not just a reduction in crime, but as you said, there is it's shown across the country to help increase tenant rates, which is always beneficial for several reasons. And then, I mean, it's just a good program. There's no reason why I feel like people wouldn't want to do it, because it doesn't cost you anything. It's things you should already be doing, you know.
Well, and it's really a value add
Right.
for the property itself,
Right.
you know, and just like we had talked about a minute ago, with when you're going through this assessment, you can potentially, as a property management company or a manager or a property owner, potentially avoid any kind of citations or accidents
Right.
or things like that, because this program helps you look in the mirror
Right.
and see what your property needs
Absolutely.
without having to, in hindsight, go, why didn't we know about that?
Right.
Things like that. So, no, I think this is a very good proactive program. Is there anything else you'd like to mention about this, or anything else right now that Pasadena Police Department has going on?
The ironic part is I've spoken with some of the I guess senior officers in the department. The department's tried this in the past. And I say like a long time ago.
Long time ago, way before this administration.
Right, but
Okay.
there was never the support, and I say that because in that meeting with the sheriff's deputies, that was their number one complaint, was they didn't have the support they needed for that program to be as successful as it could be. And from the chief's office, the mayor's office, this administration has supported some huge projects that the police department's been a part of. So
Well, and it helps when your mayor's a retired police officer.
right, yeah. So that's really helped us. And I mean, I just can imagine. I mean, the steps we've taken over the past 8 years and increasing our proactive work it's been incredible. It's been
Well,
fun.
and sky's the limit. I mean,
Right.
imagine what we can do
Right.
with support.
Right, absolutely.
It does. Well, so we love our police officers. We love our fire department, our first responders, and our emergency management. I mean, I'm telling you, Pasadena, we got it going on.
Oh yeah.
We do. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, ma'am.
And I look forward to talking to several different departments within PPD. I mean, there's so much we could talk about, and just let people know, because sometimes I think, we say we put things on social media, but not everybody's on social media.
Right.
And the algorithm shares what the algorithm wants to share. And so just because we put it out there doesn't mean somebody's going to see it.
Right. I would say two other things to look for: the RAMP program. That's the officer. Actually, it's all employees for the police department, but mental health and resiliency. And then we're shooting for our first drone first responders. So.
Okay, you just gave me 2 new podcast ideas. I'm going to have to write that
Write 'em
down.
down, yeah. They're coming.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for joining us. And thank you for listening to Pasadena Works, the podcast that takes you inside City Hall and beyond in 15 minutes or less. I've been your host, Laura Branch Morales.